The thing that is the most controversial of those proposals, of course, is moving away from an elected system to an appointed system. And as Ellen has already said, it seems a nonsense when we look at our whole election process. People put themselves forward on a manifesto. That what they do when they're elected to council, they're held to responsibility of that manifesto. But the bottom line is when people come onto Royal College Council, they're there not to represent groups, they're there not to represent constituencies, because that's not what Royal College does. That's what BVA does. They're there to act as part of our regulatory body. So moving to an appointed system seems wholly sensible. It's the system that's used by every other single medical regulatory body, and it's the system that we want to adopt ourselves. As Eleanor says, it will be an independent process. It will be done against a list of competencies, and absolutely anybody can apply, because by using an appointed system, it allows us to get a representative group of our professions onto our council. People from all over the UK. At the moment, we don't have any veterinary surgeons from Wales or from Northern Ireland. It allows us to have, for example, new graduates, production animal vets, small animal vets, people from the Public Health Centre. So they're truly representative of the professions which we are going to regulate. So we can use the skill sets that they're actually going to bring to our council. One of the other things that we want to do is move to lay parity, or perhaps I would suggest a slight disparity, in that we'd like to see slightly more professionals on our council than perhaps on others, in the same way, for example, that we've got on the GMC, perhaps one more veterinary professional than we've got with our lay members. And then, of course, the other thing which is really important is looking to balance that flexibility to allow us to have other members on that council. If you look at the composition of our council at the moment, we have 13 elected vets, we have 2 nurses who are appointed from VN Council, so we already have appointed nurses on our council, and we have 3 vet school council representatives who are also appointed, and we have 6 lay members who go through that appointment process. Our aim is to replace those elected vets by appointed vets. We will move the people from Vet Schools Council probably onto our Education Committee, where they can really use their skill sets where they're really most needed as part of our education processes. And so we'll replace those veterinary surgeons with those appointed veterinary surgeons. So what it allows us to do, it allows us to be flexible. It allows us to have appointed veterinary members on that council. It allows us to include our veterinary nurses. As we start to regulate our other professionals, it potentially allows us to have veterinary physiotherapists, veterinary behaviourists, cattle foot trimmers, all of those allied professionals that we want to regulate under our new, it may be even a Veterinary Services Act rather than a Veterinary Surgeons Act that we're looking at. So that's what we're aiming to do, and we're aiming to put that as part of our new legislation. VN Council is also going to change. VN Council is already slightly closer to the regulatory norm. We already have appointed members on our VN Council. And if you talk to any of the members on VN Council who are appointed, if you talk to any of the lay members on our VN Council who are appointed, they will be able to assure you they have been through an independent, robust process where they have been selected on the basis of their experience and their skill set within the profession. So we're going to look to replace the elected system for our VN Council again with an appointed system, and again we're looking to that lay parity with our VN members. So hopefully that gives you an indication as to what we're hoping to do. I know it's hugely controversial, I know it's not what we're used to, but it is what is the accepted regulatory norm, and remember, we have to comply with that if we're going to remain a self-regulating profession. I feel really passionately we need to have our own destiny in our own hands, and therefore by putting together a proposal to take to government that fits within those regulatory norms, we're much more likely to be able to keep our futures in our own hands. So the consultation will launch on Monday. Please give us your opinion. We want to hear from absolutely everybody. As I say, we're prepared to listen. We've given you our proposal, which have been developed from Royal College Council, with input from people like the BVA. Please tell us what you think is going to work. We'd really like to hear from you. And if any